So, and that's kind of a fascination of something that I love to do. I've never stopped doing that. It's always going on in my mind. I enjoy the process of looking closely and dovetailing things together. But there was a side of me that was exposed to, books when I was in my late teens and early 20s that caused me to think differently. Whether it was the life and teachings of the masters from the Far East, or Yogananda's books, or these books about these yogis and masters that could do all kinds of really amazing things. I never forgot that. That was always kind of like, how did they do it? Did they know about the mind, the subconscious mind, the conscious mind? And how were they able to disappear in one place and reappear in another? How did they do manifest things out of nothing? How did they do it? And so I always had that preoccupation going on in the back of my mind. So what I find really important in the work that I do is to create the challenge within the realm of the person's, right outside their acceptance, right? I mean, no one changes unless they're challenged, and that's the only way we're going to change, right? So we when we run our events, we challenge people to that extent where they're going to have to go past where they normally stop. That's the truth is that's where the greatest change actually takes place. So if a person then has the understanding, like, okay, if I healed myself, and this has happened, people have healed themselves numerous times. That's a new experience. That's not an experience. I'm not just talking about healing a cut or a sore throat or whatever, or an earache. I'm talking about healing a chronic health condition, which, by the way, requires change, lifestyle change. I heal myself. Is it possible that I can heal another person? Okay. What is the science behind that? Where can I find the information to build a model that I could actually practice this? And we now know that we've got unbelievable data that people heal when other people can have a coherent brain and a coherent heart and change the information in the person's field. They can change the destiny of matter. We know that. Okay, so the person heals another person, and then pandemic happens, and now we can't run events. And so can people get together and do remote coherence healings? Now, remote means that the subject is somewhere in Sweden, and the rest of the healers are spread around the globe, and all they need is a picture, a coordinate. In the quantum, everything's connected. The thought of that picture or that person connects you to that person in the quantum, right? So again, evolving the model. Yeah, I've healed myself. I've done in-person healings. Now I should be able to heal remotely. And we have people that are unbelievable. I mean, we did a double-blind placebo study on the effects of remote coherence healings with PTSD. And what we found was that 9 out of 10 people who received the remote coherence healings no longer had PTSD.
Really?
9 out of 10. There's no therapy. There's no pharmaceutical that does that, right? So what does that mean? It means we must be all connected, right? Now, I've had this experience, I've had this experience, and I've had this experience. Because I've had this experience, I can think about other experiences that are possibilities. And so I've always tried to take a very methodical approach, very methodical. If we did this, we can do this, we can do this, and we can keep going. So then if we keep measuring it, and we keep demystifying the process, we could actually create a greater language for transformation by gathering the information from our studies to teach transformation better. So I like to work methodically in a way that says, okay, I'm not going to say everybody's going to leave their body and go to the moon. Like we have a lot of steps in between, right? To get there. Now, when we do our advanced follow-ups, people who have gone through a week long usually is theme-based, right? We'll do like dream time at night, or molecules of the mystical, or whatever it is. We'll do something that's an immersion for 3 days in one evening. These are people that meditate every day and they want to go further. So in those circumstances, yes, I push the group for creating a greater degrees of manifestation. But in the quantum, I'll just say this. A gold coin is no different than a feather. $100,000 is no different than a penny. A house in the quantum is no different than, your health. It's all the same, right? We just assign value to it, thinking, oh, that's bigger or that's kind of more expensive. But that's the field is objective, right? So we've seen all kinds of people manifest all kinds of crazy things. So do I think it's possible to keep evolving that? Yeah, I do. Do I think there's a limit to it? Based on the exposure I have to the masters from the Far East and based on what I'm seeing, in our community, I'm hopeful I'm hopeful that we get better at it.
I mean, I've seen people at your events go from healing themselves to now healing each other in person, and now you guys are studying and getting the research on remote healing, looking at a photo of someone, thinking about them at a different location around the world, sending healing energy their way, and them receiving the healing.
Double-blind placebo study too.
Double-blind placebo study. What's the next level of something that you haven't tested yet that you think could be a potential?
Yeah.
That is the new 4-minute mile.
Yeah, gosh.
Maybe it's not we're landing on the moon physically in a moment, but what is that next level of remote healing? Then what?
Well, I think because your consciousness is moving remotely, right? Consciousness is non-local. So the next thing would be to create an effect on something in an environment in some way, whatever it is, like temperature in an environment, of causing a flower to bloom, doing something collectively.